Club Atlético Huracán is an Argentine sports club from the Parque Patricios neighborhood of Buenos Aires. The club is notable for its football team, that currently plays in the Primera División, the top level of the Argentine football league system. Its home stadium is the Estadio Tomás Adolfo Ducó.Huracán was founded on 1 November 1908 in the Nueva Pompeya neighborhood of Buenos Aires. The club's name and nickname comes from the Huracán balloon flown by George Newbery in 1909. Its supporters are called Los Quimeros because the stadium is located in a former garbage-burning area. Since its establishment, Huracán has won 13 domestic titles and 1 international. Apart from those achievements, the team has finished as runner-up of the top division 7 times. Huracán's historical rival is San Lorenzo de Almagro. Other sports practiced at the club are artistic gymnastics, boxing, field hockey, roller hockey, handball, martial arts and volleyball. History. Foundation on 25 May 1903, a group of boys from Nueva Pompeya, Buenos Aires, founded a football club under the name Los Chiquitos de Pompeya. In 1907 the name was changed to Verde Esperanza y no appeared. On 1 November 1908, a meeting was organized, and therefore the club was named Club Atlético Huracán, according to club certificates, signed by José Laguna as the first president of the institution. In that meeting the white color with a balloon emblem on the chest was also established as club's jersey. This was established as the official foundation of Huracán. Likewise, the balloon emblem was a homage to Argentine aviation pioneer George Newbery's, which had been brought from France and first piloted by Newbery in 1909. The club asked Newbery for permission to use the balloon, which Newbery replied saying, "I gave my most complete approval to the request, hoping that the team will honor the balloon that crossed 3 countries in unique trip." When Huracán reached the first division, the managers sent a letter to George Newbery that said, "Huracán has kept its promise, promoting 3 divisions, as your balloon crossed 3 republics before, so your wish was accomplished." First steps. In 1910, George Newbery was named protector member of the club. That same year Huracán played in the Liga 43, where 43 clubs from 2nd and 4th divisions took part of the championship. Huracán played its first matches in a field located in Cachi and Trafalgar Streets. It was George Newbery who got the lands on Arena Street. Newbery also negotiated the affiliation of the club to Argentine Football Association. In 1912 Huracán debuted in the 3rd division, which only allowed under-18 players to participate. Primera División and AMP Golden Age. Huracán reached the Argentine Primera División 2 years later, debuting in the top division on March 29, 1914, with a 4-2 over Ferro Carril Oeste. The team finished 6th of 13, with 4 games won, 5 lost and 3 drew. The following seasons, Huracán made good campaigns, even finishing 3rd in 1917 and 1919. In 1920 the team made a great season, finishing runner-up of Boca Juniors but also winning its first title ever, the Copa Estimulado, awarded to the club after Banfield resigned to play the final game. But the first league title would be won a year after, when Huracán was crowned champion after a great campaign that included 14 victories and only 1 loss in 18 matches played. The team also reached a mark of 54 goals. Huracán also had the top scorer of the tournament, Guillermo Danner, with 23 goals. Just 1 season after, Huracán won another championship, the 1922 Primera División, winning 13 of 16 matches played with only 1 loss. In 1923 the tournament was suspended with Huracán placed first and Boca Juniors in the 2nd position. Therefore, both teams have to play a match in order to crown a champion, which was finally won by the Zenais 2-0. That same year the club also won the Copa Drive, Carlos Ibargurén defeating Newell's Old Boys by 1-0 after an 1-1 tie in the first match. The third Primera División title for the club came in 1925, after a playoff match where Huracán defeated Nueva Chicago due to both teams had finished in the first position at the end of the tournament. The playoff match was played at Sportivo Barracas Stadium. Huracán had finished the regular season with 18 games won, 2 drew and 1 loss over 21 games played. The team scored 51 goals and conceded only 12. Huracán also won the Copa Dr. Ibargurén defeating Rosarino team Tiro Federal by 2-1. The team made good campaigns during the successive years, and in 1928 Huracán won its fourth Primera División title, after a long season of 35 games played. Huracán won 28 games, with 2 drew and 5 lost, scoring 73 goals. Some highlights for the team include victories over Boca Juniors, River Plate, Lanús. Guillermo Stable was team's top scorer with 24. The team was one of the most successful teams during those years, winning 4 titles and always finishing in the top 10 with the exception of 1930 when it was placed 14th. One of its most notable players was Guillermo Stable, club's top scorer before being traded to Genoa in 1930. Huracán did not got any important achievement during the first years of professional era. In 1939, with Tomás Ducó as president, Huracán acquired the lands where the club would later build its facilities and stadium. The works finished in September 1947 with a celebration that included a friendly match against Boca Juniors. In 1949 Huracán finished last along with Lanús, so both teams had to play 2 matches in order to define which team would be relegated to second division. After 1 victory per each and a 3-3 draw, a 4th game had to be played, with Huracán winner by a score of 3-2, which sent Lanús to Primera B. Other important facts in club's history were the debuts of 2 notable players, Alfredo Di Stefano in 1946 and Adolfo Pedantera in 1948. During the decade of the 1950s, Huracán came close to being relegated, but managed to keep its place in the top division. Huracán defeated Tigre in 1950 and then beat Quilmes a year later. The most important achievement during those years was 3rd place in 1952, shared with Independiente. In the decade of the 1960s, Huracán did not make great campaigns, the club's best performance being 6th place in 1963. In 1967 a restructuring of the tournaments was carried out by the Football Association, creating the Metropolitano and National Championships. During the 1969 tournament, 2 historical players of the club such as Miguel Brindisi and Carlos Babington played together for the first time. In 1971, CE Acutesa Menotti was hired as coach by then-President Luis Sajo. Menotti started a process that ended successfully in 1973, when Huracán won its first professional title with victory in the 1973 Torneo Metropolitano. The most frequent lineup was Hector Roganti, Nelson Chabe, Daniel Baglioni, Alfio Basile, George Carrascosa, Miguel Brindisi, Francisco Russo, Carlos Babington, René Hausmann, Rocavale and Omar La Rosa. The team finished with 46 points with 19 matches won and 5 lost, with a team formed with most of the players that had won the title. Huracán reached the semi-finals in the 1974 Copa Libertadores, being later eliminated by Independiente and Peñarol. In domestic competitions, Huracán was runner-up in 1975 Metropolitano and 1976 Metropolitano. Some of the most notable players of that time were Osvaldo Ardiles and goalkeeper Hector Bailey, both of whom would win the 1978 World Cup playing for Argentina national football team. Relegations. The 1980s was not a good decade for the club. Huracán was relegated for the first time to the second division, Primera B national, in 1986. The team played 4 years there until Huracán won the promotion to Primera in 1990, being coached by former player and idol Carlos Babington. Some of its most notable players were Antonio Mohamed and Fernando Quiroz. Coached by former player Hector Cooper, Huracán was 1994 Torneo Clausura runner-up after a great campaign during that season, losing the chance in the last fixture when the Parque Patricios team was hardly defeated by Independiente 4-0, in a match played in Estadio Libertadores de América. In 1999, Huracán was relegated to B national again, although the club would be promoted 1 season later, coached by Babington again. A new crisis due to internal and financial problems led to relegation in 2003. The club spent 4 seasons in the B national until 2007, when the club promoted to Primera after defeating Godoy Cruz in playoffs with scores of 2-0 in Parque Patricios and 3-2 in Mendoza. Huracán was coached by Antonio Mohamed, who had won a promotion as player some years earlier. 2009 Clausura campaign. During the decade of the 2000s, Huracán was near to win another title, more precisely in 2009 Clausura, where the team, coached by Angel Capa, made a great campaign but lost the title at the hands of VE Acute LZ Sarsfield in the last round of the tournament. Referee Gabriel Brazenas disallowed a goal scored by Eduardo Dominguez when the match was still 0-0. Huracán finished the season placed second with 38 points, the club's best position since the 1973 championship. The second half of the 2009 season was a great disappointment for the club. Huracán finished near the bottom of the league in the following season and Capa resigned as coach. After some poor campaigns, Miguel Brindisi was named coach by former player and manager Carlos Babington, who had become president. The results were not as good as expected and Brindisi was soon replaced by Roberto Pompey, who could not change the situation, and eventually Huracán were relegated to the last position in 2010-11 season. Therefore, Huracán ended second to last in the relegation standings and was once again relegated to the National B. Return to success. In November 2014, when 41 years since its last official title had passed, Huracán won the 2013-14 Copa Argentina when the team beat Rosario Central via penalty shootout by 5-4 at the final. After regular time ended in a 0-0 draw, the squad made a great campaign, finishing the tournament unbeaten with 6 games played, although most of its games were won via penalties. The lineup from the final was Marcos Diaz, Eramuspa, Mancinelli, Dominguez, Arano, Villarreal, Vismara, Espinosa, Toranzo, G. Martinez, Abila. The team returned to Argentina's Primera Division League on the 14th of December 2014, after winning a 1-game playoff against Atlético Tucumán, which defeated by 4-1, for the 5th place of Nationals Group B. On the 25th of April 2015, Huracán won the second domestic cup in just 6 months when they clinched the Supercopa Argentina after beating 2014 Torneo final champions River Plate 1-0 at San Juan Stadium. Players. Current squad of Club Atlético Huracán as of February 20, 2016. Sources: official website and Argentine soccer manager Eduardo Dominguez. Managers. Honors. National League Primera División 1921, 1922, 1925, 1928, 1973 Metropolitano Primera B Nacional 1989, 90, 1999 200 Division Intermedia 1913 National Cups Copa Estímulo 1920 Copa Dr. Carlos Ibargurén 1922, 1925 Copa Adrian C. Escobar 1942, 1943 Copa de Competencia Británica George VI 1944 Copa Argentina 2013-14 Supercopa Argentina 2014 International Copa Sudamericana